Welcome to Boxing Hideout TV. Once again, I am your host, Juice 8888 or Juice Berry, either way. Welcome to Boxing Hideout once again, home of the ass whooping. Today we're going to talk about the new black media's desperate attempt to find someone to beat Canelo. I thought after this win, Canelo would have gotten some credit, would have been complimented. I didn't know he could fight this style and win, but he did. All right. Oh God, man, I like to root for Styles, uh certain skill sets and things of that nature. This is how I look at it. But apparently, God, I hate to call these people. I'm not going to call anyone out by name, but if you go and look at all the comments and the critiques of this fight after the fight, oh my God, you would think that Canelo owed these people money or something. I saw Caleb Plant Philly shell his ass into left hooks to the body the whole night. It was inevitable that the ending was going to be a headshot because that's how a process works, isn't it? Work the body, wait for that head. Came and Caleb got his ass planted. Canelo looked really well in that fight. I thought he was composed throughout the fight, worked his game plan. I'm a big fan of sustained body attacks. Take what you get, take what the opponent gives you. Caleb was giving up certain luxuries to Canelo during the obliged. You keep Philly shelling your way to that left hook to the body. Go ahead. Eventually, you're gonna have to come back the other way because you're not gonna want to keep getting hit with that shot the whole fight. I thought it was a great performance. I really enjoy watching Canelo fight. I really enjoy um, seeing his evolution after the Floyd fight. He's developed into um, a master at his craft. Not everyone lost to Floyd and got better. To be honest with you, most of the people regressed. Canelo obviously took that fight as a lesson and ran with it, and he did. And he's solid. His footwork looks his footwork looks better. His upper body movement. It all looks well in place. Like he said, I know these were my flaws. Let me fix them, and he seems to be getting better. And I want to congratulate him on winning that fight. I have no issues with Canelo. I love watching that guy fight. He's a very good fighter. His style of fighting is exciting. I don't know how anyone can be upset about that. Oh, but there is. I hate to all black run podcast too. It's sad. It's pathetic. Pathetic. You know the sport. If you know the sport, you know what you saw was beautiful. There was nothing wrong with that. Nothing at all. Oh, I don't even pull up the articles to know what the headlines are about. I see some that are saying he did good with his pay-per-view numbers, 800,000, and all that stuff like that. Whatever the case may be, I don't know what all that stuff is. I didn't look into that yet because I'm disappointed in channels, certain channels ran by people with my skin color. Okay. They saw that fight, and I know what they said. And I know what they said. They said, we saw Charlo in his last fight. He can't do it. Caleb Plant had enough elusiveness and defensive responsibility for us to say, okay, maybe Boo Boo doesn't have the the pop to get Canelo's respect because he's not a power puncher either, and his chin is suspect. Oh wow! So instead of finding the best fighter to go against Canelo, who has the best opportunity to win based on style and skill set, they look for the best black fighter to fight Canelo. Personally, because of his size, I think David Benavidez has the best chance to beat Canelo. Gets hit a lot, and he's not necessarily a one punch knockout artist, but he's got the size, the toughness, and I think he could bang, and I think he would be motivated to do it. I don't believe in Jamal Charlo, not after that last fight. Not after that last fight. Had that been Canelo in there, I hate to do the had it that been and all it has would have and all that stuff like that, but had that been Canelo in that fight, Mr. Charlo would have been slumped. He would have got slumped. He would have got his ass whipped. And that's the truth. He would have got folded like a lawn chair. There's nothing that he would be able to bring to Canelo that he hasn't faced yet. Jamal's not an elusive fighter. He's not going to beat him on his tippy toes going backwards. He's not going to do no Sugar Ray versus Marvin Hagler mess. I don't see that. He's a tough dude, man. He's going to want to come forward. Unfortunately, I believe in Canelo's chin better than Mr. Charles' chin, and I believe in Canelo's power way more than Mr. Charlo's power. I'm not anti-Charlo at all. I just don't like the matchup based on what I saw from him in his last fight and what I see from Canelo every fight. It's not a good matchup. It's gonna be. It would uh be an interesting fight. I would love to see the fight, especially in Dallas. Would love to see it. But Charlo will get slept. And all you black podcasters out there, you know I'm telling the truth. I would root for Charlo, I guess. Just, I guess, tribal thing, I guess. I would be embarrassed to say, I want Canelo to whoop this Soul Brother's ass. So I got to root for him as a tribal thing, I guess. But I wouldn't bet money on it. And that's the truth. That is the truth. I'll root for Mr. Charlo against Canelo, but he's getting slept. I would root for Boo Boo Andre. He gets slept. Now we're going to get into Mr. Andre Ward, SOG. SOG is supposed to be the last American hope to beat Canelo because he hasn't lost since he was 11 years old or something to that nature. Andre Ward has the hit. Same thing with Devin Haney. The hit, duck in, referee breaks it, start over, stop. Throws in some couple of cheap shots in here and just roughs the guy up. You guys are calling a man out of retirement 5 or 6 years after he's retired. Prior to him retiring, he was in a life or death struggle match with Mr. Kovalev, where he was dropped. It wasn't his first time getting his chain rattled. It happens. It happens. It's part of the sport. You asking this guy, your hope is asking a guy who's been retired to come out. And I know he's been training. Asking Andre Ward to come out of retirement to take this fight. No tune-up, huh? Andre Ward doesn't need a tune-up. Andre Ward's career was smoke and mirrors. No one wants to admit it. No one wants to say the truth. It was smoke and mirrors. The Super 6 tournament had a roster that started out with the tournament that he won. It started out with so many people, and they were dream come true matches. Dream come true matches. Nobody's ever going to admit this, but boxing's not a sport where you can just take have a 12-round match and then the next day you're feeling good. Tournaments in boxing, that's hard if it's going to be real 12-round title fights. Think about that. Sometimes people fight twice a year. They had a tournament. Jermaine Taylor was part of this tournament. He was going to fight somebody. I would have loved to see Andre Ward beat up a shot Jermaine Taylor. Jermaine Taylor got slumped quick, dipped, hurt. He wasn't the same fighter. His name was big, but his skill set was done. So boom, he gets slumped early in the tournament. So they got to replace him. They can't have him. It's not double elimination because if you get knocked out, man, you're not coming back the next day. So they had to smelling salt JT up, load him up on that stretcher, man, slide him out there, man, slide somebody else in there. And this kept happening. Dudes were getting knocked out and beaten down. You know what I mean? If you take so much punishment in a fight. Anyways, the point I'm trying to make is Andre Ward wasn't facing. Look at his fights. Go look at his fights. He wasn't facing. I think he had to fight Alan Green, who had to be brought into the tournament. He wasn't beating these dudes in their prime. He was beating a shot version of these fighters. Nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with that. You got to beat the people in front of you. These are the people they lined up in front of you, and so he had to thrash them. Do your job. He did a great job. Chad Dawson, when he got to Andre Ward, what condition was he in? They had rumors of him getting slumped in practice. He pulled a Roy Jones, lost all that weight. That was the end of him. Now, in my opinion, Andre Ward's best win was the Kovalev fight, and to this day, many of us are still shocked that he won the fight. I guess if it makes sense, if they can add do the math and it comes out to that, then that's fine. All I know is something in that fight happened to both men, and they lost a part of themselves in that fight, and neither one were the same after that. Andre Ward had to retire. Okay. Now, Kovalev was pretty much ruined from that fight, and I give Andre Ward credit for that because Kovalev was hot. You know what I mean? So I give him credit for that. But it is what it is. Something caused Andre Ward to retire. It was a punch. It was something, whatever it was. I read something said he had back issues and something like that. Whatever the case may be, but that's horse. That's BS. If he's been training all these years, he could have come back anytime and had a tune-up fight. We miss you, Andre Ward fight, or exhibition a la Floyd and the Paul dude, Jake Paul, whatever. None of that. So Andre Ward, were you hurt, or was something else the issue? What is it? All I know is this: if Andre Ward comes out of retirement and his first fight is Canelo, I'll have no choice but to suspect that he's back to working with Victor Conti and they're back on their clear and cream stuff. You know what I mean? Something can't be right. There's no way he can come out of retirement after this long and beat Canelo. And the fight would be a lose-lose for Canelo anyways. If he loses this fight, dang, you lost to a dude who hasn't fought in years. If he wins, you beat a former dude who's nothing but a shell of himself, who's essentially here to collect a check. Does Andre Ward need a fight check? Stuff. He's staying busy. I don't think I don't remember him selling uh 1 million pay-per-views. You know what I mean? I don't remember ever going to a barbecue where people were celebrating the fact that Andre Ward was going to be fighting. He didn't bring it out. He didn't bring it out in us like that. It's nothing unique about him, man. He doesn't talk mess, which is good. I prefer fighters talk mess. It's not knitting. It's a competition where both are trying to hurt each other. I don't need. I could do without the Jesus talk. That's just my preference. Though some people need that kind of spiritual upliftment, especially in the sport where you know what I mean, the inside of you is called. You know what I mean, on numerous occasions. Should I fall? Should I buckle? Should I keep going? You black podcasters, give Canelo his credit. Stop hating. Please stop turning this into a race issue for everything. Some issues are racial, some are not. Some are just fights. You know what I mean? Let the fight happen. Leave that stuff alone. Canelo did a great job. Not all black people are upset at you, Canelo. Some of us appreciate the skill set that you displayed in the ring. It was well. measured, perfectly professional performance. I enjoyed the shaking the hands and conversating with each other with playing after the fight. That showed a lot of class. Both of you guys are going to leave with a good payday. Canelo Plant he didn't embarrass himself. He did what he could with what he had. He was missing power. That was If he had power, he would have fought a different fight. Just his ability to land would have had a different effect on Canelo, and that's all that it was. But anyways, I just like to once again give a shout out to all my folks at boxinghideout.com. Please go visit boxinghideout.com. Get on there and chat with these brothers. They may be a little mean to you. They may insult you, but you got to man up, fire back. Don't let these guys run you off the website. You're there to argue, fuss, and critique the sport of boxing. Once again, I'm Juice, 888. I'm signing out. I want you guys to make sure you like and subscribe to the video and the channel, and stay tuned for more to come. Oh man, like and subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned for more videos to come. I'm gonna be dropping them pretty rapidly. I got a lot of stuff to talk about. Yeah, we're about to get it in. Peace. Until next time. I'm Juice. Go to boxinghideout.com.